What if I told you that every rainbow you've ever seen wasn't just a trick of the light, but a masterpiece painted by a little boy who lives above the clouds? Let me introduce you to Leo. He's a quiet, curious boy with a wild imagination and a love for painting. Every evening, he sits by his window, trying to capture the fiery oranges and soft purples of the sunset on his canvas. He dreamed of painting the sky itself. One night, as starlight filled his room, something magical happened. A paintbrush, glowing with an ethereal light, appeared right on his desk. It hummed with a gentle energy, a gift left behind by a mysterious cloud spirit who had heard his heart's wish. Leo couldn't resist. He picked up the glowing brush, its warmth spreading through his fingers. He felt an urge to paint not on paper, but in the air itself. With a hesitant flick of his wrist, he painted a glowing swirl right in the middle of his room. Suddenly, the swirl began to pull him, lifting him gently off his feet. Higher and higher he went, through his ceiling, past the rooftops, and up into the night sky, until he gently landed on a soft, solid surface. He was in Skyvale, a secret world floating above the clouds, where colors weren't just pigments, they were alive. In Skyvale, the air shimmered with every color imaginable. Leo was greeted by a group of magical beings called the Sky Painters. They were the artists of our world, painting the sunrise, dusting the sky with stars, and casting the gentle glow of the moonbeams. They kept the earth below bright, vibrant, and full of happiness. But as Leo looked closer, he saw worry in their eyes. Recently, the colors of Skyvale had started to fade. The brilliant reds were turning dull, and the joyful yellows were losing their light. The world was slowly losing its vibrancy. The Sky Painters explained the source of their troubles. A dark, sad storm spirit named Gloomora had grown jealous of the world's brightness. She began stealing the colors, trapping them one by one in her shadowy vault deep within the storm clouds. As she hoarded them, the world below started to reflect her gloom, turning into a sad, gray landscape. The laughter was fading, and a heavy stillness was falling over the land. The Sky Painter's magic wasn't strong enough to pierce her fortress of shadows. They needed a new kind of magic, something Gloomora couldn't understand. Leo knew he had to help. He wasn't a magical being, but he had his courage and his new glowing brush. He teamed up with two new friends, Nimby, a giggly little cloud puff who could zip through the air like a dandelion seed, and Reina, a brave girl with magnificent rainbow-colored wings. Together, the three of them set off on a quest to retrieve the stolen colors. Their journey was perilous. They had to navigate mazes made of crackling lightning, fly through vast, colorless skies that stretched on forever, and finally, venture into the very heart of Gloomora's storm. Inside the shadowy vault, they found Gloomora, surrounded by the stolen colors, which were now trapped in dull, gray orbs, pulsing weakly. She looked not just menacing, but incredibly lonely. Leo realized she wasn't truly evil. She was just trying to fill her own emptiness with the happiness of others. He didn't fight her with magic. Instead, he did what he did best. He took out his glowing brush and began to paint in the air. He painted his friendship with Nimby and Reina, the joy of watching a sunset, and the warmth of a shared smile. As he shared these feelings, the colors, which are just like emotions, couldn't be contained. They burst free from their prisons, exploding in a brilliant wave of light that filled the vault. Dissolving Gloomora's shadows and filling her heart with warmth for the first time, they learned that colors, just like our feelings of joy and love, are meant to be shared. They shine brightest not when they are kept, but when they are given away. Leo's eyes fluttered open. He was back in his room, sitting by his window. The morning sun streamed in, and in his hand, he still held the glowing brush. He looked outside, and there it was, a magnificento. Perfect rainbow stretching across the entire sky, more vibrant than any he had ever seen. Was it all just a beautiful dream? Or was that brilliant arc across the sky his very first masterpiece? Thank you so much for joining me on this colorful adventure. If you loved this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more magical tailies. See you next time!